Hello and welcome! I'm Randy Bueller, joined by Andreas Peterson. I should say, two-time VSL finalist Andreas Peterson. Congratulations on making the finals.
Yeah, thank you so much. As you can see, I tried to channel my inner Lionel Messi today.
That was the problem.
Yeah, so, you can't do anything about that. It was a human versus an alien fight this time around.
It was the usual, right? You win game one against the Dredge deck, but lose both the sideboarded games.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed about game one, I played the Force of Will on your Mana Vault because I planned on winning on the next turn, but then I ended up breaking on, I think I braked on either Dread Return or Cabal Therapy. Anyway, you ended up getting one more turn, and you made the most of it.
I thought the problem with that turn was you couldn't Dread Return Kolagon because of my Karakas.
Yeah, that's the one. I didn't have the kill
insane.
Because of the
I'm
Karakas.
like, why am I not dead? I'm right. Oh, right. If you had Flamekin Zealot, I'm dead. But Dragon Lord Kolagon only gives haste while it's in play, and Karakas could put it back in your hand. So I got the
that
turn.
Was the problem.
Look, I only got one game win tonight, but I am damn proud of that one. I'm
it was
down
a good
board
one.
except for this weird Karakas interaction, which, whatever, I moved Karakas into my deck. And then I have to repeal a Mox.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Did you even make use of the black mana you filtered from the repeal? Did you need that one as well?
At the end, I did. It was the only reason I could Tendrils.
Yeah, so even more
I started that turn with only one blue mana, and I sank my only blue mana into a repeal to try to top deck something.
Yep.
And then, obviously I got, the DT got me the Yawgmoth's Will. I had black mana and colorless. Yep. But then when I'm going off, I'm like, whatever, this is like a pedal and a mana vault and an outcome for 3. I don't think I could string together enough, but I actually could string together enough because I've got the rest of the Yawg Will sitting there. I can Demonic Tutor. So Demonic Tutor, the trick was then coming up with 3 black so that I could DT for Tendrils. And using the repeals to wash blue into black was the trick.
Yeah, you did that 2 times on that turn, and both were crucial. So that was just awesome. I enjoyed that one.
I enjoyed that one too. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the pair of vault keys you did to me.
Yeah, that was pretty random because both games I had a very reasonable backup plan. For game 1, I had a paradoxical outcome with Flusterstorm backup for turn 2, and then I just end up topping into the win basically, and basically the same one game 2. I Sylvan Library into both combo pieces where I have a turn set up with Hydra plus counter backup. Yeah. So in both cases, it was just like a win more, I guess, because I had a very reasonable plan to begin with.
Sure.
Just those draws were just deadly, and I needed those because that matchup is horrible.
No, that matchup's great. Right. I thought that is by far the best of the 4 permutations we could wind up playing for me. Yeah. I was just hoping, like, we're sitting there waiting for the show to start, and my hand is... It's like, I had a Pyroblast and a Flusterstorm, by the way, when you vault keyed me that game 1. I'm sitting on...
Yeah, it does just some disruption. Once the key got through Mental Misstep, I knew I was golden.
Right. My point being, I'm sitting there saying, oh, this hand's great against outcome. I just hope he doesn't, like, Serum Powder. So I'm thinking to myself, if he mulligans, that's not enough to tell me he's on Dredge. But if he Serum Powders, then I know for sure he's on Dredge. I decided I still had to keep my hand because it had the Black Lotus and the Sapphire. And I'm just, like, brainstorming, hoping for action. But once I knew I had the paradoxical outcome matchup, I was delighted. I vault key. I can't like Flusterstorm or Pyroblast, any of that.
Yeah, I mean,
your draws in that matchup were insane. I think that matchup is quite favorable for me. I think I'm 2-1 favored, but it's pretty lopsided.
Along those lines, I mean, I've tried to make the most out of that matchup by adding some powerful green cards.
Yeah, the Managorger Hydras. The Managorger Hydras give you a game after sideboarding. Like, you're better off in that matchup than most people are.
Yeah,
and because the Managorger Hydras are real. I basically have to Force a Will it or race it, and I'm not great at racing.
Yeah, I wondered how many balls you kept in.
0. I decided I couldn't kill it. I didn't think you would bring in Lavinias. They're not even that annoying against me anyway. And like the odds of me catching a Hydra where I can bolt it were just too small. I took them all out.
That's what I figured. I mean, I can't really say too much. I had very powerful draws, even in both Dredge games. All the 3 Dredge games. I got
all 3 Dredge draws were insane.
I got to keep 7 twice with double disruption, and even triple disruption for game 1 where I messed up. I didn't play conservatively enough. What I should have done was just go to my draw step and Dredge instead of the upkeep, and keep the force
Okay.
plus blue card around. And then there's no, I don't care about the mana vault, and you can draw whatever you want. I'll just force it. I don't know why I wanted to finish off that game with Dread Return. So I got punished, and I mean that's how it should be.
Yeah, Koligon Caracas. I thought I was dead anyway. Because I didn't. I think when you paused is when I realized Caracas, Koligon.
Yep.
I'd like to claim credit for leaving my Caracas untapped. Sorry, forget I said any of that.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome.
It was a cool game. That was a very cool game. But yeah, the other games, you're right. When you kept 7, I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. You know what the worst part of that game was? You kept 7, which is already bad. Then you turn, but I'm setting up for a turn 2 kill. I'm like, all right, fine. He's going to keep 7, but I'm on the play. So I'm like, whatever. I made some fast mana. I found my paradoxical outcome. I'm like, hoping to fade and unmask. Whatever. He's not going to kill me on turn 1. You went activate Bazaar of Baghdad, and your discards, including a hollow one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what on earth? How are you discarding a turn 1 hollow one? What have you got? So I kind of thought I was toast at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure you put me on either Misstep plus Forest plus blue card or a Mindbreak Trap. Forest plus blue
plus
card
the Unmask. I mean, at the time you did it, Unmask is what happened to me. You unmasked my PO and then still had Force back.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, indeed.
Good games though. I mean, you played them well. I get no regrets.
I did what I have to do because on paper I wasn't favored matchup wise. I needed the matchups to be the other way around in order for me to have a decent shot on paper.
That was my analysis too. What were you going to play?
Oh, sorry.
What were you going to play in the third match if there was one?
I was going to run back Dredge again.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to play the PO deck because I knew that the only truly bad matchup for me is Xerox into Dredge, and the way I looked. My Xerox deck has 2 very polarized matchups, right? I'm a 2-1 favorite here and a 1-2 dog there. And my outcome list I thought was a slight favorite against both your decks.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just behind from the get-go and I needed to pull off some amazing draws to get there. So
I mean, you put Vault Key in your deck so that you could draw it. I mean, I'm not saying that as a throwaway. I mean, legitimately, one approach to Vintage is you just put enough broken stuff into your deck, and sometimes you just get these oops, I win draws, right?
Yeah, it adds up over time. I was just lucky to get them in a timely manner here.
Yes, indeed. But enough about our match. We got another semifinal to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Let's head down to, I think this is the battle for Atog superiority, as we've got Bayatog versus Shayatog. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Rachel on a blue-red Pyromancer deck. Rich is running his Shops deck first. Looks like it's Rachel who's on the play, so she's not going to get completely blown out by that sphere.
I was about to say that it's going to be easy to identify which deck Rich chose, but could be a little more complicated to see which one Rachel chose, because hers are fairly similar. But this is the Rock Pyromancer one.
Right.
The other one is the Jeskai deck.
Completely different. I had her on, and I estimated the number of Monastery Mentors she would show up with at about 1.5. She's only showed up with 1. She's got the green splash. Both of her decks are blue-red, but one splash is green, one splash is white.
Young Pyromancer is doing a reasonable impression of Monastery Mentor.
It's true.
But yeah, just 1 Mentor today.
Which I think is a perfectly reasonable way to approach a format like this. Like, you could bring 2 decks. They could be the same 75 if you want them to be. I do think it makes sense to have variety so that when you get to a match 3, like, you have the ability to choose the deck that isn't just blown out, or the deck that has the
sideboard. The opponent gets to choose the matchup.
Right.
So how do you feel about Rachel not playing out the Black Lotus on turn 1?
I don't like it. I think that card should be on the table. You don't know he's on Shops yet, but you know he has Shops in his gauntlet. Like, he's 50% to be on Shops, more or less.
The thing is, if you play out the Lotus, you need to Force a Will a Revoker. Which is kind of bad, but now you get to ignore it. But of course, then there's the counter argument of the spheres.
I play them in a spot like that because they only have 4 Revokers, and they have, 6 or 7 spheres?
Yeah, and she could even have gone turn 1, Young Pyromancer, Merchant Scroll for Ancestral, still have Force of Will for whatever Rich is doing, and then untap with Ancestral. So Rich
It's
is going
interesting,
for
though,
some Ravager action.
she may be in a spot where she feels like she needs to counter the spheres anyway. She's gonna force a will sphere anyway, so she can afford to. She doesn't want her Cloaker
I get
getting
it.
invoked.
But just imagine a scenario where now she got one elemental from the Merchant Scroll, now one for the Force of Will, and then gets to unsep with an Ancestral to keep the chain going.
Yeah, I like your line. Young Pyro plus Merchant Scrolls. I like your line.
So let's see here if Rich decides to go for the Ballista for one before the sphere or keep it around for a bigger one next turn. Next turn, he can realistically Ballista for 2 through the sphere plus Strip Mine. So I guess that's slightly better than playing it out now. He's slow rolling with the Strip Mine. That's cool. That's a cool play.
He didn't slow roll it. That was turn 1.
Yeah,
his
it's
land
kind
drop
of
was a Mishra's Workshop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I somehow thought it was Artifact Mana. Yeah, that's not a slow roll. See, now...
Dak is a great card to draw. I don't know if she's got time.
Yeah, the thing is, the Strip Mine is brutal in this spot.
The Strip Mine is quite brutal here. I wonder if Rachel's sequencing on that turn 1 was affected by not knowing which deck she's up against. Like, if she's up against Rich's Xerox deck, does she want to play it that way?
Yeah, I think getting the Young Pyromancer superiority earlier rather than later is very important in that matchup.
I guess I agree. Your Ancestral's just a lot less safe.
Yeah, that's right. So now Rich went for the line I talked about. He was able to pay through the sphere for 5, make a Ballista for 2, and then Strip Mine on the same turn, which is could be very, very backbreaking.
Ugh.
Yeah.
The misstep. Soul Ring already in play, so it is actually blank. I guess it's the blue card. It's better than Pyroblast.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe the deck.
Without lands, you're in a very bad spot here.
Yeah.
Rich even has the mana on board to grow the Ballista, and I guess he has to kill in 2 turns. Wow. Okay.
It's a lot of mana. That's going to put some counters on Walking Ballista.
He's definitely got the kill next turn.
Does he have it this turn? Not quite, right? I don't think he can get her from 17. Kind of almost close, though. I guess Workshop doesn't make a Ballista counter. So he could, in theory, eat everything to attack for 8. And then it's 5 counters if Ravager eats Ravager, or is it 4 counters?
Ravager, it's the amount that was on before when you sacrifice it.
Yeah, I think he can deal 16. I think he's 1 short.
Yeah, but that's not worth it in the face of. Could Rachel have anything?
That's fair.
You don't want to go all in here.
I mean, I didn't study her list the way I studied yours, so I don't know what her removal suite is. There might be something relevant. You make a good point.
And at this point, he doesn't know if it's the Jeskai deck with Swords to Plowshares either.
That's a great point. Her decks are pretty well disguised, aren't they?
Yeah, because both of them are playing a mix of fetches. Yeah. So let's see if this deck Phaeton can do anything meaningful. The Ravager is quite good against that card.
All right, this just means Ravager eats Ballista.
Yeah, so the deck is dead, and Rachel takes some more damage in the process.
Yeah, I think you just...
Let's see. Kill the deck.
You kill Dak, you deal some damage, and then I think I'd rather have a 1/1 counter on Ravager rather than that last point of damage.
Yep, for sure, because it's going to attack anyway for 1 more. I don't really see a draw that gets Rachel out of this, to be honest.
Agreed.
So now Rich needs to make sure that he has this in 2 attacks. And I guess that means sacrificing a few mana rocks. I guess I would just attack for 4 this turn.
I like 4. He's going to go for 5. Seems fine.
Yeah, too late for that bolt.
Yeah, I mean, Rich's draw was quite good. I think that
yeah.
if she opens with Lotus Young Pyro Merchant Scroll, I don't know if it's good enough.
Not
Like-
if she decides to Force of Will the Ravager, but if she decides to wait on the Force of Will and counter the Sphere in the end, then she might have a shot to change something together from the Ancestral. But
right, I think she has to she has to draw well off the Ancestral. Is I think how that line plays out. She has to be patient with the Force of Will and then also draw well on the Ancestral.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Rich is favored. I think Rich is favored even if she goes that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, sideboarding. She gets to take a bunch of bad cards out of her deck. Out go all the Mental Missteps and the Pyroblasts. Income looks like she have all 4 copies of Shattering Spree and a couple of
like you did. So it looks like you studied the same playbook. 4 Shattering Spree, 2 Nature's Claim, and a Mountain. That's 7 cards to improve the matchup.
Yeah, at least.
Being on the play is also huge.
Yeah, those are the 7.
So we have
and she only
reasonable hands from both players. Nothing broken. That Sapphire was oh, he didn't draw Sapphire? Okay, I guess it was some graphic stuff. Leading on a Sphere is always a good play.
He leads on Sphere of Resistance, not Trinisphere, interestingly. I guess he can't, because, sorry, that's Ancient Tomb, not a workshop.
Yeah, the Spheres are just so good because Rachel needs to Force a Will even though she has double Nature's Claim in her hand. And that has to do with, one is tempo, that she would not be able to kill it end of turn anyway, and the fact that she has to fetch out and be vulnerable to Wasteland here, but okay, she went for that anyway. But I guess with the Sylvan Library, it's okay. She's more likely to join to the next mana source.
Yeah, I like this line.
So do you Wasteland here in the face of an active Sylvan Library?
I think so.
Yep. I mean, Rachel's more likely to develop her mana with the Sylvan Library in play, and that mana source might come in handy later with the way Rich's hand is composed.
I mean, it's her only blue and her only green on the face of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can find more with the Sylvan, but it means she has to.
Yeah, that's one thing. And the other thing is that Rich has the ability to go double 2-drop on next turn if he had that 4th mana source. So yeah, some things to consider.
I waste there. I don't play much shops though. It's sort of.
It's not every day you're facing a Sylvan Library with your top deck. So let's see here if Rich still values the Trinisphere or he feels like the train left the station. I like this if he goes for another Ravager here, or I guess he should go for a Revoker. I like keeping up the factory. That was what I was about to say, because now he has some kind of insurance against artifact removal.
Got it.
Well, it's just a +1/+1 counter.
But pick up the counter and
play a 2-drop and keep open the factory. So with this in mind, the heads-up line for Rachel would have been to kill that Ravager on her turn.
If she was planning to kill it, killing it on her turn would. Well, but then she has to crack the fetch land. I think that.
Yeah, but Rich would just slow roll the Wasteland for a second main phase and go straight to attacks anyway.
No, he played Mishra's Factory.
He could easily just have held that and attacked. So
my point is, she didn't crack her fetch land until after Rich committed his land drop for the turn. She knew it could not be wasted.
So your point is, if Rich just attacked with the Ravager, she would not have Nature's Claimed?
That's what I think would have been correct for her. Yeah,
okay.
That is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's certainly the optionality she left open by not claiming main phase.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
Yeah, I think the right play there is certainly don't crack if Rich still has the ability to play a Wasteland.
Yep, it's a perfect catch. I wasn't. Oh, I didn't see that one.
Ancient
love
Tomb
the fact that
helps.
Ancient Tomb is a good one because it lets Rich unload more than one spell. I guess that's not what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, I don't like leading with Trinisphere here.
I wonder what his plan is with that.
I mean, I think he's baiting. I don't know. I don't like this at all. I think you're supposed to play it 2 and then play Trinisphere. Did he? I mean, he does get a Trinisphere in play. That's not bad, but
Maybe he's playing around Snapcaster Mage because he was afraid of attacking and letting the Snapcaster trade off something and Nature's Claim something. Does that make
sure.
sense?
I don't know why you don't play a 2-drop pre-combat if that's your play.
Right. First the 2-drop, then the Trinisphere. Yeah.
I mean, she can always respond to your Trinisphere with a Snapcaster Mage and a Nature's Claim if that's her plan.
Yeah, but then you get to have the ability to not attack and let the 2/1 do its thing on combat.
I was excited about Ancient Tomb because I thought he was going to get to play 2 things that turn.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Rich is a master with that deck, so I'll
It's true.
be on the side of just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, Dig Through Time is a perfect draw for Rachel.
Yeah, she's still in this. She's very much still in this somehow.
Oh yeah, more than in it. Because this one is going to find a Shattering Spree and something useful. She's trying to fit the 7 cards into her hand frame, which is admirable. We only get to see 5 pretty unexciting ones. Wonder what the last 2 are.
I mean, playing Young Pyro is not terrible. Preordain Young Pyro? You don't get to cast either of them this turn, though.
Yeah, you get to gush because you have a land drop left.
Oh, good point. Good point. My bad.
So it could still be a great turn. Yeah, this is good. So play out Young Pyro, have the Force of Will, untap, and hopefully do something great.
This is how Xerox decks beat stops in general, right? You just trade. You lightning bolt that, shattering spree that. Here's a counter spell. Like if you just get to trade, casting spells along the way, that's how you win this matchup for sure.
Oh yeah, the Sylvan Library, just the crucial turn that you take off, cross your fingers, that you get to untap under not too much pressure, and then from there you can just kind of snowball the game away.
Yeah, has she paid once or twice? I think she's paid twice, which is great. Like the ability to just improving your draw has value, but also being able to draw, an extra card or two.
The longer you can prolong the game, the more value you get from the filtering.
All right, Rich's mana might finally all be online. Here's Soul Ring. This should set him up to both attack with Mishra and play a couple things.
I wonder if Rich is giving any consideration to attacking before playing something into the Force of Will. And I think that's what he's doing now.
I think that's what he just figured out. Is like,
because this way the Revoker gets
herself a 1/1.
The Revoker gets to attack this way. It could be kind of dangerous to play something out that would prompt a Force of Will, like the Ravager, which I assume is going to get forced.
Totally agree. I think Rachel should just take it here. She wants those tokens.
Yep.
Goes down to 6. Basically shuts off Sylvan Library, but you get to Force a Will, 1 Ravager.
And then hopefully get to chain some spells next turn.
Got a Lightning Bolt for the Mishra, more or less. The second Ravager could be annoying.
Yeah, that card is very strong.
The one thing... there we go. No problem.
There's an Ancient
Grudge.
Yeah.
I think we're done. I think we're going to game 3.
Walking Ballista can finish this game off before the Elementals get the job done, so that's what I'm looking for.
He is down to Walking Ballista as his only victory condition.
Yep.
Or her misclicking Sylvan UI.
So I want to just get rid of this Ravager right now.
Main phase, don't let him attack.
Yeah, and get in for damage, and then let the Elementals back on defense take care of the Revoker. Have the flashback open. Or the Bolt open, I'm not sure, actually.
I mean, you can actually Bolt Ravager here, right? Rich cannot save it and cannot activate Mishra.
Yeah, I think that's the safest line.
I like Bolt Ravager here.
Yep.
Revoker's going to pick up maybe 2 counters. You have Ancient Grudge for that?
Yeah, I think it's just the 1 counter. I don't think you can afford to, especially in damage race like this, you don't want the Ancient Tombs as your only mana sources.
Yeah, I mean, from Rachel's I agree with you. I don't think Rich would sack the Soul Ring in this spot. From Rachel's perspective, those are the things she's got to worry about.
Yeah, the Lightning Bolt was a great suggestion that Rachel agreed with.
Yeah, down is going to go Arcbound Ravager. Yeah, Rich doesn't eat anything. You wind up with a 3/2 Revoker.
Yeah.
Can be double blocked by Elementals. Yeah, I think you leave the second Elemental back, so you've got the double block on Revoker. I like that. And then you can Grudge Mishra, take 0. Metamorph, what does that do?
Yeah, not a whole lot, unfortunately. Revokers are not really what you want. They're very vulnerable to the Elementals.
I guess it's pretty hard for Rich to trigger a Young Pyromancer too, isn't
it? Yeah. I've seen some Metamorphs on Monastery Mentor and off a workshop and then dump some Mox and then do some great work that way, but not quite.
Yeah. Make a Mishra's Factory seems like the best he can do.
Yeah, okay. It will enter the battlefield as a creature and therefore will not be able to.
Yeah, she can respond with Ancient Grudge, which is exactly what she's doing. Good smart line.
Yep.
Heads up play by Rachel. This kills the factory before Metamorph has the opportunity to copy it, because it copies as it comes into play. Now it's not going to have that option.
Yeah, now it's a kind of a useless Revoker, to be honest. It just matches up very poorly against the Elementals. And the 3/2 has to play defense. Well, that's even a bad plan, but I mean, attacking is also bad.
Yeah, Rich is basically all in on Ballista. That's kind of where we thought he was last turn.
Yeah, and the Ancient Grudge in the yard can take care of the Soul Ring, so that way only Ancient Tombs are available for Rich, and his life total is going to drop down quickly.
Indeed. If he plays that Trinisphere turn differently, how relevant do you think that would have been? Like, he definitely could have gotten an additional creature onto the board that turn. If he goes, Ravager followed by Trinisphere.
As the game played out with the Lightning Bolt and the artifact removal, an extra Ravager would have been great, because then you can do some shenanigans and either counter the Lightning Bolt or try and ignore the artifact removal from Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, it definitely seems like relevant. I mean, she's removal flooded at this point. She's got everything covered, but she had to go down to 5 to stabilize.
With some aggressive Ravager draws, you can sometimes bottleneck your opponent's mana,
right,
so that you win the game, even though they have a bunch of removal spells in hand, but they just didn't have the time to cast it. And I think in this game, it would have meant that Rachel wouldn't have the freedom to play out that Young Pyromancer. She would have needed to play some interaction instead. So I think that's the tempo advantage which would have gotten out of that.
Sounds right. Replicating the Shattering Spree.
Yep.
Love it. Down goes Soul Ring and Revoker.
And left are 2 lonesome Ancient Tombs.
She gets to attack for 3 and ship the turn with Ancient Grudge flashback online.
Yeah.
Nice.
She should just pre it in here, right?
I suppose. Yeah, it's not like he has anything hasty.
I remember back in the day where what's it called? Slash Panther? Was that the one?
Yes.
That saw play in even the Fleetwheel Cruiser once Kaladesh came out.
There have, from time to time, been hasty creatures in the shop stack. Not right now. All right, on to game 3.
Yep.
Rich willing
Exciting
to be on the
stuff.
play. That seems like a nice edge.
Yeah, definitely. Rich is making a minor adjustment of adding a Sorcerer Spyglass on the play.
Okay.
Trying to get lucky against the version of Rachel's deck that plays 4 of the same fetches.
Hilarious.
And also just, back fading as the default.
There it is.
And there are two Scalding Tarns in Rachel's hand. It's pretty funny.
It is weird, but you have to mix up your fetch lands in Vintage nowadays.
Yeah, the basic mountain in the sideboard, you want it to be base blue-red.
Yeah, she has an island and a mountain, right? So she needs the 4 Scalding. It's tough. I guess I don't think she did anything wrong then. You have to be able to get both of those. So.
Oh, yeah. But Rich is going for the powerful line of, do you have a Force of Will or not?
Also a good line.
You're in trouble. That being said, Rachel is pretty well equipped to deal with, especially now.
No, it's 3 mana.
Sure.
Rich is 1 land drop away from adding a Lodestone Golem to the board and just smashing her.
Yeah, right. That's actually true.
Like, the danger here is that Rich deals 20 before she can cast a 1 mana spell.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
We'll see.
So how does Trinisphere and Lodestone Golem work? If Rich has a Lodestone on the table, how much do you pay to Shattering Spree for 1?
It's still 3. Lodestone adds to the base cost, and then basically the last thing that happens is Trinisphere says kick it up to 3.
Yep. Great play by Rachel, playing out the second Scalding Tarn rather than the Polluted Delta. I guess it wouldn't matter too much.
Mostly she wants to not play the island and risk a strip mine.
Yeah.
If she's done correctly.
Yeah, so Rachel is actually in a very, very powerful spot now because she faded a few draws from Bridge.
Right. Him missing those 2 land drops means he's only hitting her for 3 a turn, and she's got the land drops she needs. Yeah. It was literally any land too, because
Rich wants to get Rich wants the discount here before getting disrupted on the attack step. And again, I would have loved to see some sorcery speed artifact removal from wow.
Spyglass into her fetch lands. He's basically forcing her to crack the fetch lands is what he's doing. I don't know.
I guess he knows he's up against
all the Shattering Sprees? Interesting.
He knows he's up against a bunch of removal spells, so I guess this is just some kind of bait.
I mean, you could just play a Lodestone Golem, though.
Yeah, but he's pretty sure that is going to die to either a Grudge or a Shattering Spree.
I guess. All right. Spyglass is too late to actually do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to turn off. It can't even turn off Black Lotus or Mox Ruby, right? Because it doesn't stop mana abilities.
It's not a Revoker, it's a Needle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can bluff. I've definitely seen the bluff. I fell for the bluff once.
Nice. So now what do you do with your Rachel? Do you care about the 3?
I think I mean, you kill something with Ancient Grudge, then you untap and replicate the other 2 things. Or maybe you flashback. Oh, now you care about getting them both, right? Yeah. Replicate doesn't get made more expensive anyway, so.
Right. So now you can go. I think you want to deploy the Pyromancer first.
Oh yeah, this is. God, she's in such good shape all of a sudden.
Yeah, those 2.
She can slow roll Shattering Spree.
Yeah.
Love it. Flashback Grudge to stop the 3 and deny him a mana. If she wants to, or she can just sit on the Shattering Spree.
She's going to go for the Shattering Spree, it looks like.
But it does unlock Dack Faden.
Yeah, in that case, keeping the Mox Ruby in hand would have been a great play to have, if she draws into
potential
2 good
discard.
cards.
Maybe.
I've been playing a lot with Dack Faden, so I usually... I remember last week I had some spots where I kept some cards in hand and made some, on the surface, some optimal play, but that was to optimize Dack Faden later on. It was kind of interesting. And keeping the Mox Ruby here would have been I mean, it would have been pretty powerful because
I mean, she gets
chances
paid
are,
off with grudge flashback available. Yeah, Rich is just done. Wow.
yeah,
Scoops them up. He was like, you got me.
it was enough.
Holy sideboard artifact removal. Rachel Agnes drops the first game, but comes back and wins the match.
Yeah, I mean, it was just crucial here. Rich banked on hitting just one mana source because then the golem would have joined the party and increased the clock.
Yeah, then it's like 3/7/7. Now let's play. You're on like 3 life.
Yeah, and I think it's great because you get 3 virtual time walks. If that training sphere resolves, your opponent's not going to do anything on, well, 2 virtual time walks, I guess. They're not going to do anything on turn 1. They're not going to do anything on turn 2. So I like Rich's play. It just, didn't work out this time.
All right, so Rachel is up a match. She is hoping to join Andreas in next week's finals, but it's best 2 out of 3. So Rich Shay is going to go get his other deck. Rachel's going to get her other deck, which is actually going to look a lot like that one, but probably with a little more spice. Some nice, some tech, Spell Seeker and whatnot.
Spell Seeker and even a Disrupting Shoal, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, the things she can get with that Spell Seeker are kind of hilarious. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back with the next match between Rachel and Rich.